Welcome to Fascinating Flash. We're jumping into a deep dive today, really unpacking the story of Balder. He's such a luminous figure in Norse mythology, isn't he? We're drawing straight from the sources you've given us.
Absolutely. He's often called Balder the Beautiful, and for good reason. Our goal here really is to explore who this god was, why his death was just so pivotal, and how, the sources show his death wasn't just tragic. It actually kicks off Ragnarok, the beginning of the end.
Right. Okay, so let's get into this story. It's got light, loss, and, well, maybe some rebirth too. We'll see what the sources tell us.
Yeah, the sources are pretty clear on who Balder is. God of light, joy, purity, summer. He's Odin and Frigg's son. And the big thing is how much everyone loved him, like almost universally cherished.
It seems like his presence was almost protective. The texts suggest his light kept darkness, maybe evil, sort of at bay, representing cosmic harmony.
Exactly. Which makes his death so much worse, symbolically. It's like goodness and order just vanish. A shadow falls over Asgard.
Yeah, I see that. Now, I know there are different versions out there. Some paint him as more of a warrior, right?
There are, yeah. Saxo Grammaticus has a version like that. But the Eddas, which seem to be the main focus here, really stress him as this luminous god, and that makes the tragedy. Well, it gives it its real punch.
And it starts with nightmares, his own nightmares.
Terrible ones. He starts dreaming about his own death. Really disturbs him, and all the other gods, too.
So Odin doesn't just sit back. The sources say he acts.
He does. He doesn't just accept it. He actually rides down to hell, the underworld, to consult a Volva, a seeress. He needs to understand.
She tells him.
Confirms the worst. Balder will die. And crucially, that his death is the trigger for Ragnarok. It really leans into that whole Norse idea of weird, fate. It seems inescapable, even for the gods. Odin's trying to get a handle on it, maybe not change it entirely.
Okay, so Odin's seeking understanding, but Frigg, Balder's mother, she tries to stop it, like actively prevent it.
She does. Desperately. This is where we get the famous oath. She goes around and makes everything swear not to harm Balder.
Everything. Like what?
I mean, fire, water, iron, all metals, stones, earth, trees, diseases, poisons, animals, birds. The sources list quite a bit. She tries to cover all the bases.
Wow. So he becomes invulnerable, basically.
Pretty much. And the gods, they're relieved. They even start this game, throwing things at him, darts, stones, whatever, just to test it, because nothing can hurt him.
Which sounds fun, but there's always a catch, isn't there?
Always. And the sources really highlight the irony here. In her massive effort, Frigg missed one thing. Just one.
What was it?
Mistletoe.
Mistletoe. Why that?
She thought it was too young, too insignificant to ask for an oath. Seemed harmless,
That tiny detail, that's where fate, or maybe Malice, gets in. Some sources even suggest the gods game. That overconfidence maybe created the opening.
It certainly seems that way. And this is where Loki steps in, the trickster, always stirring things up.
What drives him here? The sources suggest envy, chaos. Or is he just an instrument of that fate?
It's debated. Maybe pure jealousy of Balder's perfection, maybe just wanting to cause trouble, or perhaps he is just playing a role destiny set out. Hard to say for sure.
Whatever the reason, he finds out about the mistletoe. How?
He's cunning, disguises himself, often as an old woman, and goes to Frigg. He cleverly asks if everything swore the oath, and she, perhaps unsuspecting, reveals the one exception, the mistletoe.
Ah, so he gets the information right from the source. Then what? He makes the weapon.
Exactly. He fashions a dart or maybe an arrow out of mistletoe, that one thing that can hurt Balder.
But he doesn't use it himself. That seems very low-key.
Very low-key. He finds Hoder, Balder's own brother. Hoder's blind, so he couldn't join in the gods' game of throwing things at Balder. He was just standing aside.
Oh, no. So Loki manipulates him.
Yes. Loki goes up to Hoder, asks why he isn't honoring Balder like the others. Hoder explains he's blind and has nothing to throw, so Loki gives him the mistletoe dart. And then, the sources say, Loki guides Hoder's hand, takes advantage of his blindness, his innocence.
And Hoder throws it.
Throws it. And Balder falls. Dead. Instantly.
Silence, I imagine. Shock. The sources must describe it as devastating.
Utterly devastating. Yeah. A point of no return for Asgard. Chaos wins. Destiny finds its path. Malice exploited that one tiny vulnerability.
The consequences are huge. What happens next? The funeral.
A massive funeral. It's held on Balder's own ship, Hringhorni, so large they struggle to launch it. And there's more tragedy. Nanna, his wife, her heart breaks. She literally dies of grief right there and is placed on the pyre with him.
So much loss. But that the end? Is there any attempt to get him back?
One last try. Hermod, another son of Odin, known for his speed, volunteers. He rides Sleipnir, Odin's eight-legged horse, down the long road to Hel.
To plead for Baldur's return, with Hel herself.
Yes. He finds Baldur there, seated in honor, but still in the realm of the dead. Hermod pleads with Hel, the queen of the underworld, and Hel. Well, she sets a condition. A test, really, to see how beloved Baldur truly was.
What's the condition?
She says Baldur can return if, and only if, every single thing in the world, living and dead, weeps for him.
Everything. Like the oath Frigg took, but in reverse, weeping.
Exactly. Gods, humans, animals, earth, stones, trees, metals, everything must shed a tear to prove his universal importance.
And do they? Does it work?
Almost. Messengers go out across all the realms, and almost everything weeps. The grief is universal. Gods weep, humans weep, even the stones and trees weep. Seems like it might actually work.
Almost. So, someone refuses.
One being refuses. They find a giantess sitting in a cave. Her name is Thok.
Thok, and she won't weep.
No. She says basically, let Hel keep what she has. I have no tears for Baldur. Coldly refuses.
And let me guess, Thok is.
Widely believed, and the sources strongly suggest it's Loki. Loki in disguise again, delivering that final spiteful blow.
So that one refusal seals it. Baldur stays in Hel. The balance is broken for good.
That's how it seems, and that's the direct link. Baldur's death, sealed by Loki's final act, is what truly unleashes Ragnarok. The loss of light, purity, order. It triggers the twilight of the gods. Back to that inescapable fate, the weird.
Such a tragic cycle. But you mentioned Rebirth. Does the story offer any hope beyond Ragnarok?
It does. That's maybe the most profound part. After the destruction, after the fire and flood, the world is prophesied to be reborn, green and fertile again.
And Baldur.
Baldur returns. He comes back from Hel, and importantly, he doesn't come back alone.
Who's with him?
Hoder, his brother, the one who was manipulated into killing him. They return together, reconciled.
Wow. Reconciled to rule the new world.
To rule a new, purified world. It's a powerful symbol of renewal, isn't it? That cycle of destruction and creation is so key in Norse thought. Light does find a way back, even after the worst possible ending.
It really is an incredible story. So much packed in love, betrayal, fate that seems impossible to avoid, and then this final twist of hope.
Absolutely.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? How something so small, like mistletoe, could unravel everything. How fragile goodness and light can seem.
And maybe you have to go through that darkness, that tragedy, for a real new beginning.
Definitely something to ponder. Thanks for exploring this with us.
Thank you. Farewell.